Today I'm going to be working on the stone for the fireplace that you see behind me, and if you want to see how I got to this point, make sure you stick around because I'll be releasing a full build video on this whole fireplace. For this project, I'm going to be using a new to me product, and that is this Faux stack stone from Gemstone. This is a very lightweight foam-based faux stone. You can see it's a stack stone. This is the first time that I've ever used this particular product, so we're going to go through it together and I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to be using two different types of Gemstone panels. I have this panel, which is just a flat straight panel. That'll go here, and then I have these outside corner panels. The outside corner panels are going to wrap these corners. Obviously, I don't need this whole panel. I'm going to be cutting this off and it's going to be butting up against the bookcases here. And the nice thing is that this is just a foam, a hard foam. So you can use an oscillating tool, a table saw, a hand saw, any number of different tools to cut this. It's relatively easily. I've got some lines marked out here to get started. So there's a couple benefits to using this particular product. Number one, I'm in a master bedroom, so mess is important. I don't have to do any mortar, scratch coats, do any of that type of stuff. So it's a lot cleaner of an install. Number two, it's faster and easier. This is a super lightweight product and it just attaches with some screws and a little bit of caulking. It's very easy to use. The other thing is it's super lightweight. Sometimes adding a stone facade to something like this can create a lot of extra weight. So you may have to actually support the subfloor or something depending on the construction that you're working with. So it's important that things are engineered properly so that you know that you're not going to cause a problem. Now that we've got our first corner installed, next we're going to move on to installing our first big panel. And as you can see, each panel has these little overlapping shiplap tabs. So one side has a tab that goes under, the other side has a tab that goes over. So I just use a little bit of construction adhesive along that tab and a few daubs along the back side just because I want it to be nice and snug. And then I'm just using drywall screws, which are plenty strong for this, and installing those every 6 to 8 inches. I'm going to be bumping out this fireplace just a little bit so that it's flush with the stone. So I just have to rip this piece down, and then I can use a couple screws here in the face up at the top, because in this instance there's a glass frame that goes around this, so those will be concealed and you'll never see them. I also found that just using a couple brads helps keep the edges down a little bit until that construction adhesive can set up. Now obviously this is not a perfect length to be able to use full panels throughout, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this corner first, and then I'm going to work my way backwards, and I'm going to put in a little patch in this area, and that's going to occur all the way up. So what I'm going to do is work my way back and forth so that there's not one particular area where there's all these little patches all the way up, and it'll help blend everything together. So what I need to do here is cut the full length, but I need to basically create the inverse, this 1 inch inverse shiplap overlap. So what I'll do is I'll cut the full length, and then I need to cut an inch back on the stone itself so that that'll tuck behind the existing stone. Now, making these patch pieces is probably the most difficult part of this whole process. And even doing these is not that difficult. You just have to take a little bit of time. But because it's so easy to cut, you can really dial it in and make fine adjustments as needed. That way everything will overlap just like a full panel, and it'll be clean and you'll never notice the difference. So now that I have the first seams here, I'm going to work my way from left to right. That way the next seam will be on that side. Then the next row I'll do the exact opposite. I'll go back and forth. That way I'll try to hide as many seams as possible. Now as you can see, these panels have little numbers impressed in them. This is a 1. The one below it is actually a 2. Gemstone has 4 different molds for the different panels. So there's 4 different corners, there's 4 different full pieces. And what I'm doing is I'm alternating so that the panels have more variety to them. Now, even if you do use the same panels, there is a little bit of color variation, but it's better to kind of alternate as you work your way through. So maybe put a 2 next to a 4 or a 1 next to a 3 and just kind of work your way back and forth like that. So that way you have a really diverse look and everything just kind of blends together. Obviously, the more cuts you have to do, the slower things go. This particular installation involves quite a few cuts. It's still taking me most of the day. It also involves me determining where I have to install a TV bracket because there's going to be a TV above this mantle. So there's a little bit of figuring things out on the fly. But overall, it's been a really simple process and a very clean installation. Now, if you run into any instances where you drip some construction adhesive or something on the stone or it squeezes out, I found that it was really easy to clean off with just a wet rag or in some cases even just a Q-tip. And if you have some gaps or something that need to be filled, the kit itself comes with a tintable caulking and some color matched paints depending on the color of the stack stone that you went with. So there's a lot of options to kind of finish things up. I actually found that I didn't even need to use the caulking because the installation ended up being very clean without it. And as far as waste goes, this was my entire pile of offcuts and waste. So the material waste was pretty minimal, and I ended up with just one extra panel when all was said and done. So working with Gemstone to order the product and tell them exactly what I needed was super easy. They sent it all very quickly, and overall I'm really happy with it. They actually offer quite a bit of variety in terms of this faux stack stone, and not only just stack stone, but they also have some faux brick looks as well. So I just wanted to say thank you to Gemstone for giving my clients a discount on this installation. And if you guys are interested, either interior or exterior, you can use them in either place. Maybe consider checking out what Gemstone has to offer at gemstone.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this project and I hope you learned something. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.